Hello everyone, this is Shokora Zouheikyoku aka chocomint, and welcome back to Let's Play of Meeting in the Flesh. In the last playthrough, we have had quite a hectic day and had a little more interactions, staying back a little more interactions with Yesto, which is a very vague and cryptic talk about self-sacrifice in order to become better. And for becoming better, it will help a lot of people, but something will change. The relationships with someone special or someone important will change. And everything is very vague and there's not much details for us to give our honest opinion, since it varies, depends on the results. Now that we have finished that delivery and continue on to all other reps, let's go. Thanks for the delivery.
No problem.
Hey, you be careful now, right?
Will do, thanks.
I have to hurry. I'm usually never this behind schedule. If I move quick, then I should still be able to finish all my deliveries before the end of the day and avoid getting to anyone late. But I can't really afford to delay anymore. My feet skid across the ground as I turn a corner, my claws raking deep furrows into the dirt as I straighten back up without dropping my base. My next two clients are absent from their homes. As much as it pains me to say, that's good for me today. I quickly stuff their soap packets into the boxes and resume running. I'll say hi to them on another day, when I have more time. I'm sure they're also busy with their own necklace preparations. Distracted trying to think of any other shortcuts I can take without skipping any stops on my route, I don't hear the sound of approaching footsteps the instant I step into the park, and I suddenly don't expect a hefty bundle of fur and fans that come bursting out of the foliage to my immediate left. Ew! I don't manage to stop quickly enough. Neither does Rattan. He collided squarely with me, knocking us both into the grass. I was waiting for you.
You were?
I gently push at Rattan's shoulder so he'll get off of me. Not that this is a particularly terrible position to be in. Rattan's fur is quite soft and clean today. He must have taken a shower after last night's exploring, and his body is very warm. But he's still heavy, and getting thrust into the grass for too long might make dirt seep through my back and tender salt. Rattan moves back obligingly, clambering to his feet and holding his hand out so I can also stand. His hand is huge. The backs of his claws swish slightly against my palm. You're still on your route, right? You're a little later than usual today. I was kinda worried I'll miss you.
Yeah, I had something kind of important to take care of.
I'll roll you.
Thanks. He's never done this before.
Still, it's not like I mind the company, and Rattan is in fantastic shape. Even as I run at a steady jog, he keeps up with me just by walking quickly. See, I found something really interesting last night. So that's why he was waiting for me. He must have been really excited to tell someone. What was it? I'm not sure.
Huh.
Oh, that the tongue poking out, so cute. But I'm doing my best to figure it out.
That sounds difficult.
Rattan looks around before he continues speaking, like he's making sure nobody else is around. Visibility is poor in the park anyway, so even if someone were eavesdropping, I'm not sure if he'll be able to spot them. Nonetheless, he looks satisfied that we're alone and continues. He's so excited that his voice is starting to get gravelly at the edges, like he's fighting back the urge to start barking. I think it's really important, you know. I've never seen anything like that before. And I think it could change things. If it's what I think it might be, then this might be huge. I may go out in history as someone incredible. So I'm really excited to figure out more about it.
He's so enthusiastic that it's infectious. I can't help smiling as I nod.
I don't know much about exploring, but I hope it's something great. You're always working really hard, and it'd be nice if someone got a chance to really appreciate all the work you put into your job. Rattan beams, showing all of his teeth. We jog along in silence for a few moments. By the way, did you put in an order for any salt today? Breton looks a little like he was started out of his task by that. His furs popped out a little larger than usual. Oh yeah, I did.
Would you like it now?
Sure. I slowed to a walk so I can fumble with my bag, carefully extracting one of the soap packets without dropping any of the others. Here you go. Hey, do you have a few moments to spare? It's my turn to be caught off guard. Still holding out Breton's packet, I give him a curious look. I want to show you something. He's so excited he's drooling slightly, a thin string of spittle hanging from his jaw. It must be his discovery from the other day. Well, I feel a little bad, but I have to turn him down. I don't have that much time to spare after spending time with Ernesto too. Sorry, Breton. Things are kind of hectic today, so I have to hurry. Maybe I can meet you after my rout's over? Breton's ears have tilted down a smidge, the wagging of his tail slowing significantly. Oh, sorry, Breton. Maybe next time. No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I guess you're a little behind today, huh? He's pretending to be fine, but I can tell he's a little unhappy about this. Are you sure? I'll be happy to come back here after I'm done delivering. I just don't want to keep anyone waiting. Breton considers that for a moment before shaking his head, his tail wagging with gusto once more. Yeah, it's fine. On second thought, I guess I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be showing you. So I'll check and come back later when you're not busy, and I'm sure we won't get in trouble for it. That'd be great. Thanks for the invitation though, Breton. No problem. He reaches out a massive paw, probably to clap it on my back, but he course corrects when he remembers I'm wearing the bundle over my shoulder and ruffles my hair instead. His claws are huge and sharp, but they graze against my brow. I like you a lot, you know. If it were anyone else, I'll suspect this as a very well-constructed attempt to guilt-trip me, but Breton isn't the type for anything like that, so I manage a smile as I gingerly duck out from under his paw. I like you a lot too, so I'll be looking forward to seeing your big discovery in the future. Sure thing. The slick of damp brow underfoot gives way to firm rock bed as we near the edge of the park. Oh yeah, here. I've still been holding Breton's soap bucket and hold it out to him. Right, thanks. Be careful all the rest of your route, alright? Will do. I tighten the bundle over my shoulder to make sure it's firmly in place, then heads off at a steady jog. Halfway down the block, I turn to glance over my shoulder. Sure enough, Breton's still there, watching me. I raise a hand to give him a brief wave, and he excitedly returns the gesture before finally turning and sinking into the foliage of the park. I can't help wondering what it was that Breton wanted to show me. Part of me feels like I may have missed something big. You did, but you didn't miss anything big with Ernesto though, so it's alright. You know about something big with Breton later, maybe in another life, another timeline. But for now I have to focus on the job. My next delivery is a good few blocks away, so I turn the corner and ram up into a speedy gallop. Here you go. Alright, where did they do, Yes sir, things have been a little hectic today. On behalf well, I won't skip you. Be careful now. Thanks, have a nice day. I'm starting to get a little out of breath. I usually manage to do my entire route at a steady pace, but today's been a day of ups and downs. I have to rush a lot more after I talk with Ernesto, and I can feel my legs starting to ache a little. I slow from a sprint to a jog so I can go down my list of notes. I finished most of my route now, with only a few more blocks to run, which is good. A quick glance up at the sky confirms that the suns are starting to set already. The sky is stinging the usual musty green. It's starting to get late, which means I'm cutting it a little close. The palpable tension in the air has been rising all day too. There are more people hanging around the streets than usual, some rowdying and causing trouble, others pressed together in quiet intimacy. I turn the corner to take a shortcut down a street and find my foot splashing into a puddle of red. The metallic stench that lingers in the air is unmistakable, and is cut through with a signature sting of soot. No doubt the remnants of a punishment soap bath. Or multiple soap baths, possibly. The metal tubs used for soap baths tend to leave behind dark rings of moisture on the ground. There are 2-3 circles overlapping each other. I can't tell if it's the result of one tub being jostled around or multiple tubs used in quick succession. I move quickly past the site, both because I can't afford to loiter, but also because the combined smell of blood and salt is making me hungry. I haven't had the chance to take a break or eat anything today. I raise a rib cleanse back as I head down the street. I've left behind a trail of dark footprints, radiating out from the pool of blood but fading with each step until they vanish. The bundle of blood is still there. It will seep into the ground eventually, leaving a dark stain for a while. Kind of like the eclipse, huh? A big happening that will leave an impression for quite a while. I'm not a very poetic person. I feel a little smug for thinking of a comparison like that, but I can't spare too much time to self-congratulatory nonsense. I dramatize away from that crying bundle of blood and look back towards the street. Have a nice day, Bill.
Thanks, you too.
Time's getting awfully tight, but I should be able to finish my route on time if I keep up the pace. And I make the mistake of breathing a quiet sigh of relief to myself as I dash past a block of closed storefronts. Closed for the eclipse, and round a corner quickly enough that my claws cut on the ground. I almost slammed right into the bustling crowd that's loitering around, breathing in huge lungfuls of sweet, honey-scented air. What's going on? It's usually never this crowded.
Sorry, excuse me.
Passing through.
Sorry, I have to get through here.
I gingerly squeeze past a crowd of people. It turns out these people have formed a line that trails out from New York's B-store, but the line has got tangled and messy as it trails out into the street. Getting past them is a struggle, and more than a few people shoot me dirty looks that I have to pacify by shifting the bundle on my shoulders and clarifying that I'm just here to make a delivery. Most grumble but grudgingly let me through. Cluster of people blocks my way near the entrance, and I wait for a few customers to finish their business and exit so I can slip in as the next customers enter. I check over my bundle while waiting, peeking through the folds of fabric to check how many more deliveries I have to make, although I lose count when I'm distracted by a conversation going on nearby. You're the humorous about the guy running the store, right?
I haven't. What did they say about him?
They said this guy sucks energy out of other people. I roll my eyes while my head stuck. I haven't heard these rumors myself, but it sounds silly. I've never heard of anyone eating anything other than water and salt with additives, much less sucking the energy out of other people.
No way, that feels creepy.
Right, but it makes sense, doesn't it? But how gruff this guy usually is.
Yeah, he always feels kind of off, you know.
Why are you gossiping in his store though? Maybe that's why he has a store, to lure in victims. The two of them laugh rakishly. I just tighten my bundle across my shoulders and ignore whatever else they are saying. It's all nonsense. York shouldn't have to put up with this stuff. He's a good guy.
Hopefully these idiots won't actually say this stuff to his face.
Yeah, if they're stupid enough to do that, yeah, then I hope they got kicked out of the store. Fortunately, a small cluster of excited customers exit the store the next moment, and I take the chance to slip inside, murmuring that I'm just here to make a delivery and I'll be out soon. Inside the store, I managed to weave my way past the crowds of people looking at bees and find York near the back of the store, where he mans the counter alone. All of his tentacles are hard at work managing 6 different tasks at once, and his teeth are bare as I reached a deep, rasping tubs. He must be stressed.
Hey, York.
Hey, Bill.
He doesn't even turn me away, not that I can blame him.
He's busy dealing with a customer on one side, backing out a bottle of honey with one set of tentacles and shooting an agitated bee with 2 others. The smell of honey in the air is almost dizzying, stirred up by the constant movement of people in the store, and I can't help but taking a deep breath before busying myself undoing my bundle.
Busy day today, huh?
Sure is.
His tentacles swiftly wrap a bottle of honey in fabric, then tie a piece of twine into a bowl to secure it. His customer thanks him profusely before leaving with their purchase in hand, babbling excitedly to their friend about how tonight will be a special treat.
Seeing everyone happy about the purchases makes it worth it though.
His voice is as rough as ever, but the corners of his lips quirk just as passion. He really does seem happy when his customers are happy. Seems like it. I hurry to pull a package of salt from my bundle, double-checking my notes to make sure I have the right packet for him, then lay it on the counter. I'll hand it to him, but all of his tentacles are occupied packaging two different orders at the same time. I'll leave this here for you, alright? With how busy the store is, it would probably be best if I don't take up too much of Nar's time. I give a little nod and turn to leave when the touch of a tentacle against my shoulder stops me.
Will.
He sounds serious. He always sounds a little serious, of course, but this feels different. Yes? There's a pause. Nar's tentacles never stop moving, nearly processing and wrapping orders for customers standing on the other side of the counter, but the tentacle resting against my shoulder only squeezed slightly. He addresses a customer first, wishing them a nice day as he hands them the package, before turning slightly towards me.
If you could spare time, would you mind helping me out a little?
I'm a little surprised, not about the request itself. Any reasonable person would ask for help managing a store this busy, but because I've never seen Nar ask anyone for help before. I can't help feeling a little flattered that he asked. That said, I need to think this over for a moment. Unfortunately, I don't have much time left today, and I do still have a few more deliveries to make. Reaching back, I test the weight of my bundle with my hands, trying to gauge how much time I will need to deliver all of these before the end of the day. I should be able to hit all the stops on time as long as I hurry, but if I stopped here to help Nark, no, really can't risk getting people their deliveries late, especially on the day before the eclipse. I don't want to risk ruining anyone's preparations for a big day. Sorry, Nard, but I'm on a really tight schedule today.
That's understandable. You did come in a bit later than you usually do today.
Yeah, things have been really hectic today, so I'm a bit behind, and I don't want to be late with anyone's deliveries today. You're nuts. His tentacles keep working. I'm really sorry. I wish I could help. I can come around after my round's over if you need any help closing up shop. He shakes his head. His attention already seems to be wandering away from me, tentacles awfully wrapping up another bottle of honey even as he speaks.
It's alright. The worst of the rush should be over soon. You should get some rest after your work.
Are you sure? There's no trouble coming in by after my round? He nods again.
Thanks for the offer, but it's fine.
I feel like I've put somewhat of a damper on things, but I guess it couldn't be helped. Sometimes things just work out that way. Alright then, hopefully things won't be too hard for you. We're nearing the end of the day after all. I tighten the straps of my bundle to make sure it's firmly in place. It's from pretty light by now. The fabric weighed down by only a handful of soap packets, but that doesn't mean my remaining deliveries are any less important. Behind me, I can hear a few customers hop impatiently. No doubt they think I'm holding up the line.
Take care.
Most of Nar's tentacles are hard at work grabbing up bottles and suiting agitated bees, but he still spares one to give me a small wave. I wave back as I step away from the counter. You too. Good luck. Nar doesn't respond anymore, already busying himself tending to the next customer in line. They want to look at the beast Nar has up for sale. Since they're considering outright buying one, they must be big spenders. Nar steps out from behind the counter to lead them to the cages. I guess I should go. The crowd outside the store has thinned out a little bit, but it's still sizable. At least those people from earlier who's been gossiping have either gotten into the store or have wandered out, tired of waiting. I gingerly squeeze my way past the waiting lines and back onto the streets, inhaling deeply. Already the sweet scent of honey is much thinner, cut through with the musty smell natural to the air. Overhead, the skies are starting to spread through with darker shades of green as the sun steeps towards the horizon. Though there's a strong urge to linger, to wait and see if the storm will quiet down at all, and even to turn back inside to help Nark. I know I shouldn't, so I don't look back as I dig my heels into the ground and take off at a quick sprint down the street. At least these last few deliveries won't take too long. Thanks, Will. Seems like you had a busy day, yeah? You're cutting it really close.
Yeah, things have been a little hectic today.
I can imagine, since tomorrow's the big day and all. You're right, you should go rest up.
Thanks, I will. Have a good night.
You too.
Even smiling feels exhausting after the long day, but I still make sure to wave as I jot up, calling at my bed to make sure all my deliveries have been taken care of. All done, and with barely a minute to spare. I really did cut things pretty close. But at the same time, I don't regret it. It feels like what happened today was pivotal and absolutely worth a bit of extra running. I end up taking the long routes back home, backtracking a little bit. I walk past North's store, which has gone quiet by this time. I can still see flickers of movement inside, but it looks like it's mostly just North cleaning up the store by himself. I cut through the park. The atmosphere here is different after dark. The spiny trees casting twisting shadows across the uneven ground. The air feels colder too, and it feels different without Bratton's boisterous presence walking by me. I walk back to the Overlook office, which continues to watch silently over the city. The sparse eyeballs lazily cast over the landscape, though they blink slowly now and again, as if growing tired. I think of Iesto in his Overlook part, devoting his time to guarding the city. Tomorrow is about to be a big obstacle for him, and my chest aches with the desire to help him in some way. I give the spire a small wave. Even if he's about to be too occupied to see such a small gesture, it's a task to count. I'm sure it's just a coincidence that the spire's largest eye give a slow blink in response, but it still eases my mind a little as I turn away. My thoughts feel fuzzy as I walk back home, watching the three suns sink out view one at a time. When I get back to my place, I just grab a soap bucket and collapse on my bed. I usually don't eat in bed, but I'm too tired to care today. I roll over on my bed to unwrap the fabric and rosily bite up a small mouthful of salt. The familiar sting spreads through my mouth, hot and sharp, and I try not to think about it as I let it dissolve on my tongue. Even eating feels exhausting. I turn my head to glance towards my window. Past the closed curtains, I can see a sliver of the night sky, two moons lazily traversing the dark expanse. Though I bring the salt to my mouth for a second bite, I find that I just can't be bothered. I'll eat in the morning. I do the bare minimum to wrap the salt back up so it won't scatter over my bed during the night, but that's the absolute limit of my energy for the night. Even knowing I have to get up to clean up before falling asleep, my limbs feel so laden, and I find myself drifting off. But even as sleep begins to overtake me, I find myself thinking over the events of the day. A small shiver of nervous anticipation races down my spine, all the way to my toes, prompting me to wrap my blanket closer around my body. So much for a quiet eclipse. Tomorrow will probably be a very important day. I jerk awake to the sound of my alarm beetle buzzing. I immediately close my eyes and roll back over, burying my face into my pillow. The desire to go back to sleep is tremendous, which is pretty unusual. I almost never have the trouble waking up in the morning, but my limbs still hurt a little bit after all the sprinting yesterday. My thoughts immediately snap to the strange talk I had with Yesto, and that suddenly wakes me up. I drove upright in an instant, my drowsiness dissipating like so much smoke. I sit up in bed, stroking a hand over my face and picking off the buzz that drives over my eye during the night. A cursory check of the time tells me I'm not late, but I should move quickly if I want to be on time. So I do. And I try very hard not to think about the eclipse. I'll have the time to spare for that once I'm actually on my route. Huh?
I told you, take a day off.
I made it on time to work, squeezing by some loitering crowds in the streets, jogging on the last stretch of the day to the salt plant, only to find the place quieter than usual, though there was still the familiar rustle of soap pouring into filters. the stream of long balls whizzing through vats, and the glob of honey being emptied by the bucket. There are fewer workers than usual. The boss seemed a little less harried than usual too, and when he beckoned me over, he sprang a surprise on me.
Delivery roasted to his short.
He has the delivery list in hand, and he flips through the pages, swiftly double-checking each one with a stubby pencil.
Turns out a lot of people asked to have their delivery for today put on hold. Heading out of town because of the eclipse, I imagine. All her plans are so short. Whatever the reason, we barely have half the usual number of deliveries.
He scratches at the scales on his notes with the back end of his pencil.
Carefully making all of you run your routes, so I reorganized the route. And a few of you have barely taken any days off, so I'm giving you today a rest, or enjoy the eclipse.
I automatically give a dip of the head in things, but it still hasn't properly sunk in. I build my daily schedule around my work, and suddenly being told that I have the whole day to myself is jarring. The boss seems to notice my hesitation and gives me a hard clap on the back. Even if he meant it playfully, he's a strong guy, and that casual whop is almost enough to bowl me over. He laughs as I wheeze. Okay.
Go on, Gix. You're young. Go do something fun. You deserve it.
You sure there isn't anything I should be doing?
You don't to me.
No, sir. Leaving the soap plant empty-handed so early in the day feels profoundly weird, and I'm not quite sure what to do with my hands as I head towards the door. It's almost a relief when the boss calls me right before I reach the door.
Wait, Bill. Hold on a second.
Yes, boss? He storms over, digging through the bucket of his apron and pulling out a few scraps of paper. He returns most of them to his pocket, but holds one out to me.
Somebody from the Overlook office came by earlier and gave me this. Said it's for you.
Yes, so send somebody? The boss nods. The piece of paper is neatly folded into a square, and unfolded it reveals a short note written in Iesto's impeccable handwriting. Oh, interesting. Well, I was hoping I could see you today if you aren't too busy. I'll be at the Overlook offices all day, so please visit me if you're able. Please don't worry about it if you have other plans. Thanks, Iesto. It's written so politely, which is very much like him. I smile to myself as I pull the note back up and tuck it into my pocket.
Something wrong?
No, nothing's wrong. Iesto just wants to see me about something. Hey, boss.
Yeah?
What are you going to be doing during the eclipse? He smiles, the mask straining to stay in place on his nut. I can almost picture all the teeth he's showing. The boss doesn't smile often, but when he does, it's very kind. So it's a pity the mask is in the way.
I'll be watching the eclipse when the partners go and enjoy a bucket of mercury salt together.
Ooh, fancy! Mercury salt?
That's right.
He gives a brow huff, arms are crossed over his chest.
Being thought it was extravagant, but I know Dad loves it, so I went for it. I said I'll let this special go by way of doing something nice for the loves of my life.
That sounds pretty nice. I hope you have a nice evening.
We will, so you should too.
I wish the boss a good day and leave soon afterward. I don't want to delay him any further when there's still work to do. Hopefully he and everyone else at the plant will be able to finish up quickly and enjoy the rest of the days. Though I do still feel some guilt about taking off by myself when everyone else is working hard, I also don't want to waste the time that was kindly given to me. Standing out on the streets, I watch people go by for a few minutes. It's actually not as crowded as I feared it would be. No doubt a lot of people are traveling, or are already holed up with people important to them. Further down the street, I can see what looks like a small brow. I guess that might also be something important to the people involved, but I do hope it doesn't last too long. I would be awkward to spend a eclipse day in a soap bath. Taking my cloak closer around myself, I inhale deeply. The air feels electric, stinging at my nose. Alright, I guess I should get moving. The streets are abuzz with activity as I head towards the Overlook office. If there was a strange electricity in the air yesterday, then the very atmosphere is crackling with energy today. As I walk past a popular garment store on the main street, the window shudders as a body comes hurling through it. Fragments of organic glass go skittering in all directions as the defenestrated individual rolls across the pavement, shouting and howling. A second figure comes bowling out of the store moments afterward, landing on the first in a vicious tackle. There's only a short pause before fists start flying as both parties attempt to pummel each other. A small crowd gathers around the fighter. Some people spectate quietly, while others cheer and shout. It doesn't matter if these fighters are strangers or not. They are no doubt engaging in something that matters a great deal to them on this auspicious day. Fights too are important after all. This may be a way for them to settle a long-standing grudge. I peer past the onlookers for a few minutes before continuing my way, giving the crowd a wide berth, just in case. It wouldn't do to get embroiled in a big brawl after all. I just put the fight behind me when a pair of Overlook officers ran past me, shouting for the crowd to back up and give the fighters room. My steps slow as I glance over my shoulder. The fight is still going on, judging by the shouts and shuffling noises, and the officers wave their batons to get the attention of onlookers, urging them to step aside. Of course, it's the Overlook's job to ensure that things go smoothly on a close day. It wouldn't do for strangers to interrupt a personal fight, or for the fight to involve third parties. It must be difficult. There's so much going on today. Up ahead, a loud shout catches my attention. A small crowd is gathered around a tall figure who stands with arms raised, shouting indistantly. I think they're announcing something important. The crowd gathered around them seems excited. This too is probably something the Overlook officers will have to keep an eye on. I can see the Overlook spire up ahead, looming above the other buildings. The spire's eyes dart back and forth rapidly. Even from this distance, I can see the spire's flesh pulsing rapidly in spots, frantically pumping blood through its veins. I don't think I've ever seen it so active. Iesto must be working harder than he ever has. The notes he left for me have seemed so candid, but Iesto always seems to try and seem at ease. I can't imagine this is actually easy, even for him. The fight behind me sounds like it's escalating. The heavy, meaty sounds of knuckles pummeling into flesh echo down the street, but I don't pay them any attention. Instead, I quicken my pace, heading towards the Overlook office at a run. I don't want to keep Iesto waiting any more than absolutely necessary. And that should be a good point for pausing our playthrough today. We have finished our deliveries for the rest of the characters and other clients. Because we spent so much time with Iesto that we didn't have time to spend with Ratten and Nark at the end, so at least we had time to spend with Iesto. And after that hectic time, we have some time to we have a tiring sleep before having a whole day to ourselves on their close day. Very nice. And on that free day, we have an invitation to the Overlooker place for Iesto. I wonder what he wanted, but that should be for another video. Since for now, it will stop here. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next playthrough of Meeting in the Flesh. Bye bye!